and welcome to Shedding Starlight, your guide to the Kingdom Hearts mythos. Today we're discussing Twilight Town, the never-before-seen world that both Sora and Riku visit during their journeys through Castle Oblivion. Seen in both cutscenes and gameplay, the world consists mostly of buildings and small alleys. The icon for this world, when selecting it, features also a forest, a train, and most prominently, a tall clock tower. This card world was originally crafted by Vexen from memories he said were locked in the other side of Sora's heart.
Throughout Sora's route in the castle, he, of course, begins to remember things he thinks he forgot all this time, like another girl being at Destiny Islands. But Twilight Town is different. When he first arrives at this card world, in text-only dialogue, he says he's never been here before, and that he definitely doesn't remember it. However, when he approaches a mansion, things begin to change. The mansion is brown and gothic, with a courtyard of ruined pillars. Both Sora and Riku in their venture here are stuck outside, however, since the gate leading to this courtyard is locked. It's here that Sora begins to realize that he doesn't exactly have memories of this place, just the idea he's been here before. One could equate what Sora is trying to describe as the difference between remembering your childhood school and getting deja vu inside a building you've never been in before. You have a feeling of familiarity, but it's not like you know your way around like you would the school. As we said before, Vexen says he got the data from the other side of Sora's heart. In the first Kingdom Hearts game, we see Sora's entire journey through the worlds after he left his home for the first time. Yet we never visit this place in that game. So how Sora could possibly know this place remains quite a mystery for now.
In our episode discussing how the card worlds within Castle Oblivion work, we cover how Riku is still able to visit Twilight Town, even though it's not from his memory or data at all. Riku is only able to visit this world because of the card given to him by Mickey. However, this card appearing to Mickey in the first place is strange. The card is data of Twilight Town, which is a world with a name meaning between light and dark, and of course this card is connected to Castle Oblivion, a world that's placed between light and dark. This is only speculation, but perhaps those two factors are enough to allow this card to be a sort of entry key out of the realm of darkness and into the area in between, explaining how Mickey found it.
I needed a way out of the realm of darkness, and then suddenly this card appeared right in front of me.
And when Mickey picked it up, the card, connected to Sora's heart, wanted to unite with Riku, just how Riku resonated with Sora and arrived at the castle that way.
When I picked it up, I could see your heart beyond the darkness. That's what let me find you. I guess the card thought its place was to be with you.
While there isn't a 100% satisfactory explanation on how this Twilight Town card appeared to Mickey and led him to Riku, it might be because the card is not only connected to the gray area between light and darkness, but also connected to Sora's heart.
But Sora is not the only one with ties to this world. At the mansion, after Sora fights Vexen, Vexen tries to warn Sora about becoming Marluxia's pawn. Before he could finish, however, Axel, the spiky redhead, arrives and kills him. We want to bring up Axel specifically because at this point, he might be familiar with Twilight Town himself. During the credits of both Sora and Riku's routes, we get a short scene of a blonde boy walking through Twilight Town. In Sora's credits, he passes by a group of teenagers eating ice cream bars. All four of these kids look to be about Riku's age, as they're a little taller than Sora and Kairi. In Riku's credits, we get the same scene, but shot a little differently, and it's longer so we get more context. The blonde boy is accompanied by Axel. When the boy eyes down the ice cream the other teens are eating, Axel shrugs. The credits then cut to the two of them eating ice cream bars of their own, while sitting atop the clock tower we've previously mentioned. So this mysterious world that Sora says is somewhat familiar is a world known by Axel. It's possible Axel is only visiting this world for the first time after Chain of Memory ends, but given the implication that Axel bought ice cream for this kid, he might be familiar with the shops here.
Even though it's only a card world and Chain of Memories, what we know about Twilight Town is that it's a world that rests between Sora's memory and his oblivion. It's a world not only connected to Sora himself, but to Axel.
And given that Axel is a member of the organization, who knows if it's him alone familiar with this world? Or if Twilight Town is a hub for our new villains of neither light nor darkness, just like the world itself could be.
Welcome back, everyone, to Shedding Starlight, the discussion portion of Twilight Town. Whee! Our little yellow, orange, brown town that we get to walk into. And where did it come from? We don't know. We don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
I'm here with Mel. That's what I usually say. I'm here with Mel. How are you, Mel?
Hi, hello. My voice is a little shot because I was recording the Summer Games Fest thing. I wasn't expecting Kingdom Hearts, so I'm not, disappointed or anything. But I did talk a lot through it, so my voice is a little tired, and I do apologize if that comes through.
Well, I will be evaluating your performance through this whole episode.
Oh, no.
And
my wife and kids.
You will be compensated accordingly based on how well your voice does.
Oh, great.
Okay. So, Twilight Town. This place is weird. What is it? Where did it come from? So, I think this episode was also... Okay, so the title we have on the doc is Twilight Town, the other side of Sora's heart, which is just a weird phrase. It's a weird phrase, weird, dumb phrase. It's not dumb, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? My first two discussion points on here is me quoting part of the script, Vex and talking about other side of Sora's heart. Where did Twilight Town come from? And then the other side of Sora's heart. What does that mean? What does any of this mean? Where did this place come from? What's going on, Mel? Please tell me.
Okay, well, so first of all, I would think that if this is from a part of Sora's heart, so just in case if this isn't really clicking for somebody, the Twilight Town that we visit in Chain of Memories is not real. It's just a card projection world, like all the other worlds that we go through in Castle Oblivion.
Right.
So somewhere out there, probably, is the real Twilight Town. And that'll be interesting to see, because in Chain of Memories, I don't think we saw, any NPCs. We didn't meet anybody. We only saw, the organization members as Sora and the replica as Riku. And so it's definitely a weird, almost what's that word people use now? Liminal? It almost feels like liminal world, because it's just so empty. And I can't say where it's from other than maybe the idea of it being called Twilight Town is, if we're going to base it off of Traverse Town, which is a world where a bunch of travelers from all across the world end up there because their world's full of darkness. I could see Twilight Town maybe being a place in the twilight, in between light and dark.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that brings me to the conversation at the very end of Riku's route with Riku and Diz, where he's like, oh, I'm going to take the path in the middle. I forget what the actual line is, but Diz is like, oh, the road to dusk, and then Riku says, oh, the road to dawn. So it's like, I don't know, that's an interesting little concept that they bring up, where twilight is, I think, specifically when the sun is setting.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. Yeah.
And then Riku saying, no, I'm going to go where the sun rises.
Yeah, it feels a lot more hopeful. Which, is, I mean, I guess I say this later on, but I'll just say it now. Because, like, Twilight Town, when we kind of get to know it a little more in future games, where it feels a bit more cozy. But like I said, in this game, we don't have any context. It feels a lot more liminal because we don't have any NPCs. Mm-hmm. The name Twilight, as in, like, the sun is going down, like, it's only going to get darker.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, like, both in Sora and Riku's route, it's, like, scary things happen. And both the times they visit there, like, Axel just fucking explodes Vexen. And then Riku watches, like, his doppelganger fade into the abyss. So, like, it's scary.
Plus, it's just a ruined mansion in the middle of a forest. It's probably where Slenderman took place.
Sora, if you see a paper on the tree, you better run, bitch. Honestly, Hannah, I'm gonna say it. The mansion, it's giving Lost. It's giving Lost. It's giving Lost. It's gonna have numbers sketched on the side. Like, I don't trust it.
For 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
Please no Lost spoilers in the comments. We're watching through.
Me and Mel and a few of our friends are literally in the middle of a Lost watch right now. Kind of rewatch, kind of not rewatch, because we were like 9 when it came out or something.
Exactly. Anyway.
Cool. So, naturally, my brain loves to try to connect the dots with information that I don't have. So, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so this is a real place that Nominate implanted memories in Sora, that somehow just got fucked up and locked away. Like, that was me trying to reconcile this, but Mel, you had a great point.
Yes. And
to that.
Yeah, it was me trying to clarify that I don't believe, I strongly unbelieve, whatever the word is, that Twilight Town is not implanted from Nominate, is not a Nominate implant. And one of the hints I think that points to this is Vexen. At one point, Vexen is telling Sora, he's like, I have a question, like, your memories of Nominate or your feelings here at this world, at this new world you've never been in? Which of these two is more real? And I think he's trying to trick Sora, where he's trying to make it sound like the Twilight Town memories are fake and that Nominate is the real one, but it's really the other way around. But Sora doesn't believe him because he's a villain. He's like, why should I fucking believe you? Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's kind of interesting. Vexen, I don't know, I feel like is kind of giving himself away in that moment of like, oh, like even telling Sora, oh, one of these is fake and one of these is real, you know? It's interesting.
I definitely agree. I think Vexen was a weak link. And that's why Marluxian was like, we gotta take this guy out. Axel, kill him. Like, but.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting. Just villain monologue-y.
Yeah. It's absolutely.
Behavior.
I'm gonna reveal to you the whole plan before I die. Like, Vexen, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Don't ruin this for us. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to say that, so we talked about how this is from the other side of Sora's heart, but throughout Kingdom Hearts 1, the only other game we've seen Sora in, this is the only other Kingdom Hearts game we've played so far, if you're listening to this while playing for the first time at least, is that throughout Kingdom Hearts 1, we see Sora leave his home for the first time, and we see every world he's ever been to.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting that both Sora and Kairi have because Naminé is like, I'm the shadow of Kairi. We've kind of talked about this in our previous episode with Sunny, where both Sora and Kairi seem to have secrets that even they aren't aware of. And so that is just something I think is very interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of possibly opens up a connection of Twilight Town and Kairi.
That's interesting.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's just like that's kind of just another thing you have to look at whenever like mystery surrounds Sora. You have to remember that like Kairi lived in there for I don't know however long Kingdom Hearts 1 takes place for.
No, that's a really good point because oh my god, this is like the second time you've brought this up and it's been a really good point. But you also, I remember a previous episode, we were in our Kingdom Hearts 1 season, you were talking about how if Sora's seeing things, like, wouldn't he have just seen that weird laboratory from Halabastion, weird World Terminus, whatever? Wouldn't he have just seen that from Sora's heart or from Kairi's heart? Isn't that just her memory? So I wonder if maybe this is something like that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, just something to think about, to chew on, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah.
A possibility. Yeah.
In fact, especially because, okay, so when Sora first, I don't even think I really realized this because, just to be upfront again, I have not played through all of Chain of Memories. I am one of the babies, okay? I am one of the wimps. Where I played a little bit, I said I didn't like it, and then I watched the cutscenes online. Okay, don't kill me! Don't come for me! Don't come for me!
You gave it the college try. You gave it a try.
Thank
and so
you.
did I.
The college try, is that a term? People say?
Yeah, you gave it the old college try. That's, I mean, like, that's, the whole thing of, like, going to college or trying new things and becoming your own person.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I thought it was like you tried college, you didn't like it, and you dropped out. And that happens so frequently enough that there's a term for it or something. Like the 15 pounds or the 5 pounds. The college 15. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
The freshman 15, yeah.
Freshman 15. Anyway. My point is that I don't think I ever realized that in text dialogue, Sora, when first arriving to Twilight Town, is like, I've literally never been here. Like, I literally don't know this place. Like, I don't remember at all. And then it's not until he gets to the mansion where he's like, whoa, like, deja vu, you guys. I've seen this place. Like, what? And I've never realized that it was the mansion that triggered that. And that is so interesting. This mansion is so weird because, like you said, it's in the middle of a forest. Like, like I understand that, like, estates have, like, their own property or something. But usually, like, the property is fenced off way farther, right? Maybe I just don't know how, like, mansions and estates work, but, like, I would think.
I'm just thinking of the house from Knives Out. I think that's surrounded by forests, too. But I think I don't know. That's just what comes to mind.
I'm thinking of Pride and Prejudice, so you're closer than me. Anyway.
But I really liked your metaphor of like going, like seeing a school and having that deja vu. Was it going to a school that you don't know or going to your old school?
So it was like going to your childhood school where you could be like, oh my god, okay, this is where I had science. This was the school locker I got shoved in that one time.
Right.
And then, like, if we go down these stairs, like, we'll find, like, the cafeteria or something, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Hannah, but sometimes, like, you'll, like, be at a certain place that you've never been to before, but you'll still have, like, a moment. You'll have, like, a moment where you're like, whoa, deja vu. Whoa.
Yeah.
Even, like, maybe you're, like, in a new office building, or you're stopped on the side of the road to, like, take a picture or something.
Yeah.
But it's not like you know that building. You can't walk through it like you did your school, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I tried to come up with. Where, you know, if you're listening, it's like the nominee is the fake made up school that you can walk around in. And then the Twilight Town and the mansion is the deja vu place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's like, I don't think the way I'm going to explain my feeling of this, I don't think it's going to work with this same metaphor anymore. But I think it's interesting whenever you like go back to your school when like after you've grown up after 10 years and you're like twice the size that you used to be. And so like the hallways are smaller and like the classrooms are smaller and the chairs that used to be as big as you are, you now can't even fit in, you know, like that sort of
absolutely
feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I felt that way. We once visited a house I used to live in, and the house I remember was like so big. Like it just felt like a tall house. And then I went back to it as I got older. I became an adult and I went back and I was like, oh, it's like a first story, like kind of small, like a humble home, you know? So it's definitely weird how our youth can kind of warp things.
Yeah. I have never been to the house that I lived at when I was 3 years old since we moved out, but I'm sure I would feel the same way about that house if I ever saw it from the inside. But anyway, to get off this metaphor, this little tangent.
So if we're going to move forward, then I want to talk more about the card specifically because the one that appeared to Mickey and then led Mickey to Riku, and then we kind of talked about maybe it's because it's connected to the area between light and darkness, because Twilight Town, or it's connected to Castle Oblivion, and how it also seems to be connected to Sora's heart, because it was made with memories from the other side of his heart, or whatever. I understand that if you're new to Kingdom Hearts, and you're like, why would an object lead to a person? Like, that just sounds weird. I feel like as we progress through Kingdom Hearts, we will kind of, it's never like spoken by the characters where they're like, objects have this power. But we'll kind of learn and see that objects kind of have like a connection to your person and that they can kind of help people find their way to you. And I think that that's very romantic in the sense that like, it makes me look at, like, toys I've had since I was a kid. And I feel like these toys have, like, a piece of me in them. So it's like, of course they would be, like, a compass to me. Where if you, like, follow the toy, you'll find your way to me. Like, it is a very poetic, romantic way of thinking about it. But that is how Kingdom Hearts kind of approaches things.
It's so good. It's so cute. I just, like, I feel so warm at the thought of that.
Yeah,
with
great.
you and your toys.
I mean, they're like plushies, not necessarily like wooden toys or figures, you know, but like,
yeah.
Anyway, another thing I wanted to say, speaking of cute things, okay. So we have previously talked about how suspicious Axel is because he seems to have his own kind of agenda. Like, he is willing to do whatever it takes to stop Larxene and Marluxia, and that includes taking down, like, his senior in the organization, and even stop Zexion, another person in the organization, because he found out too much, you know? Like, Axel can be kind of scary. And then, in the credits of these same games, we see him, like, hanging out with some fucking teenager. The teenager is, like, looking longingly at this other group of teens with ice cream. And Axel, like, notices. He's like, okay, you know what? You want some ice cream? Let's get you some ice cream. And then they eat ice cream in the next scene.
Yeah. He's so nice.
He's so nice.
He's mysterious, but he's nice.
He's
and I wrote down here, very Gordon Ramsay-like, which if you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. But there's, like, clips of, like, Gordon Ramsay yelling at adults in, like, Hell's Kitchen. And then when he does, like, they'll put it next to a clip of him on, like, MasterChef Kids or whatever, where, like, he's yelling at the adults who are supposedly the professionals. And then when it comes to, like, kids who are learning and, like, still trying to figure things out, he's very nice, he's very gentle, he's very guiding. So that just reminded me of that. It's great.
I didn't
We
know that
love
about
Gordon Ramsay.
him. That is very
Yeah,
cute.
I'm gonna send you clips after we're done.
Yes!
It's so cute.
Well,
But-
that is very Axel to give a boy an ice cream. Especially because, like, it made me kind of think about how, you know, Larxene, I love her, but she was kind of a bitch to Sora and Nominee, obviously, right?
Absolutely. If she would not give the kid the ice cream,
No,
she would be like,
fucking
deal.
wouldn't. No, she wouldn't. She would say, suck it. Like, she wouldn't give a fuck. And it makes you realize that, like, even, like, Marluxia and Vexen were kind of, like, a little, not, like, mean to Sora, but they clearly were just, like, you know, they were villains, you know? And
Yeah.
Axel was also a villain, but Axel also kind of spoke to Sora like, yo, Sora, what's going on? I'm gonna kill
Hello,
Vexen.
fellow kids.
Yeah, right? Hello? Yes, exactly. And even the only thing that kind of like gives me chills is, okay, so I'm so stupid. I can't believe I forgot about this. But in the credits of Sora's route, you know, we were right before. We literally see Axel appear in front of Replica Riku. After Replica Riku was like, maybe it's okay that I'm a replica, Sora. Like, you're a good guy. I'm gonna walk away. We see Axel appear to him after that in the credits, and I just kind of forgot because I never watched the credits because I only watched this on YouTube, like, blah, 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 whatever. And so, but that goes to show how kind of two-faced he can be, where he can buy this one blonde kid ice cream and yet manipulate. Maybe it's because maybe he doesn't see like the replica as like a real person or something, but he like definitely manipulated the replica to take out Zexion. And that to me shows like a sign of disrespect to Replica Riku, who seems to be like a teenage age, even though he's a replica, you know? And so Axel's just a very hard guy to pin down right now because
There's just so much going on. He knows too much that we don't know. He knows more than we do.
And I
just
don't like that.
It's like, what do you know? What should we know?
Yeah.
Tell us. Spill. Give us a tea.
Give it to us.
All right. Well, we've gone through all of our discussion points, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we're going to move on to emails. So we got a couple questions from Dyxo.
Hi, Dyxo.
I hope we pronounced that right. I think that's how we've said it.
I feel like we say it every time where we go, I hope that pronounced. And then I'm pretty sure every single time Dyxo goes, yes, you pronounced it right.
So Dyxo's first question. Firstly, how the hell was that card even made to begin with? Like, so far, every card's based on something Sora has active memories of. But he's never been to Twilight Town and has no direct ties to it. We're told it's from the other side of your heart, but what does that even mean? Mel?
Yeah, well,
Your response?
so first of all, I want to bring up what we talked about earlier today because I didn't even write this down because I didn't think about it, but you're just so smart. And I'm just like, oh my God, of course. Where, you know, maybe it has something to do with Kyrie or something like that situation where Sora can see things that he himself did not experience, but it's connected to him. So even, you know, we've seen all of Kyrie's life. You know, yeah, she lived in Hollow Bastion until she was sent over to Destiny Islands. So maybe Twilight Town isn't connected to her per se. But you're right in that, Hannah, you're right in that it might be a similar thing where we know it's not the strangest thing in the world for Sora to see things that he himself has not been through.
Yeah.
So I think that's, you know, and I pointed out, I wrote here, like, it kind of reminds me of the stained glass platforms where Sora saw the princesses of heart that he's never met before. So that's like, now we have three different cases of Sora seeing things or dreaming things or remembering things that he never experienced, that he never met, that he never went to, you know? So it's weird. It's very weird.
Someone else calling out to him. Maybe. Someone that we don't know. This poor kid. I would be so confused if I were him too. I would just live my life being stupid too if I were him.
Ignorance is bliss.
Okay. Dyxo's second question. Secondly, what was so dangerous about what Vexen was about to tell Sora? I know Axel was just following orders, but why not let the conversation play out and then take out Vexen afterwards? Was it just that Vexen changed his mind and decided to spill the tea that made it dangerous, or was he about to say some crucial truth that either the organization or Marluxia wanted to keep hidden?
So, I feel like the reason Axel did not want Vexen to keep going and to let the conversation play out is so that he could convince Marluxia and Larxene that he is one of them. And the only way he could do that is if he killed Vexen before he revealed Marluxia's plan. So that Marluxia would be like, oh, Axel has my back. Like, he saved me.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, especially, you know, from Axel's point of view, I think if Sora learned about Marluxia too early, I think Marluxia, especially because Larxene's alive during this part as well, that Marluxia and Larxene would take action that Axel might not foresee or, like, not be prepared for. So I think he, killed Marluxia and Larxene to get their trust. And then by gaining their trust, I think he had, the best way I can describe it is, like, better control of the board, where he can move the pieces more predictably and not deal with unreliable variables. That's what I think, personally.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's playing 4D chess with information that we don't have in his mind. So,
yeah,
I would agree with that. It's just, like, manipulating the situation to his advantage, I guess. So then, last question from Dyxo. Third, when did Diz, Naminé, and Repliku get here in the first place? How did they manage to predict exactly where in the castle Riku was going to be? And how did they manage to safely move Sora's pod from the top floor down to the basement?
I remember reading that and being like, how did they manage to safely move Sora's pod from the top floor down to the basement? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Especially, like, it's weird. It makes me wonder, like, because at first my thought process was, like, maybe the layout of the castle allowed those two floors to meet in the end, because we've kind of talked before about how there still seems to be floors or rooms that Sora and Riku did not go in, because, like, we see rooms of Marluxia, Axel, and Larxene talking with each other and, like, and, like, plotting or whatever. And then we see Zexion and Lexius talk in some room where the lights are off, you know? And so it's not like Sora and Riku have explored every single room. And so my thought process was, like, maybe there's, like, a path in the castle that Riku just happened to end up where Sora was. Yeah. But, I mean, Sora's, like, on, like, the 13th floor or something, and Riku's only at, like, the first basement floor, you know? So... yeah.
I don't know. It's a shape-shifting castle.
Yeah, it's... You know? Yeah, I feel like that's... So, I don't know if that's something that, like... Maybe it's, like... I don't know if, like, hardcore Chain of Memory fans would disagree, where it's, like, it doesn't shapeshift that much. Like, it's still the same layout. Right. But I still just feel like it feels that way. Like, look at the castle. Some of its wings are literally sideways and upside down.
That's what I was gonna say. You know? It's in one of the sideways wings where they both ended up.
So that's where they met. I'm gonna say that. That's where they met. They went in a loop. Riku went in a loop and met Riku in the sideways wing. Suck it. So
incredible.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, that's all the emails, huh?
All right.
I guess we didn't get as many as I thought we would, but in the end, I think that's okay. You know?
Yeah.
We can always...
Like, I feel like we've pretty much asked and answered any question that anyone could have come up with for this, I think.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Especially
and I know that's not an open-minded thing of me to say, but
well, I mean, like, it's not like this world is gonna, like, explode before the next game. Like,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, it's gonna still be there.
It's gonna stick around,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, and so we can always explore more in the future.
All right, well, that's all we got for today.
Wow. Hannah,
That's it.
Is this our last Chain of Memories episode?
I think so. I think we're gonna do our season summary, and I think that's it for this season. Oh my god!
Wow!
Crazy. This one went by so fast.
It did. It went by so fast during the first season because I was still really new to it, and I wasn't used to. Because, like, Lord knows how long it helps me, how long I take to create videos and, like, write scripts for videos. So I was not used to writing a script a week. I was like, I'm not used to this. Like, can we do double weeks or something, or every other week, you know? But by the time of Chain of Memories, like, yeah, I still procrastinated when I shouldn't have procrastinated. But, I mean, like, but we were pretty punctual, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I learned, honestly, like, I learned a lot. I thought I knew, that's not true. Coming into Chain of Memories, I was like, because I had really only watched the cutscenes, I was worried that there would be a lot I would miss, because maybe there's a lot more details in the gameplay than I was aware of. But, like, writing this, I learned maybe not like new things that I never knew before, but it's nice to have this refresher because it does remind me of things that are going on in Kingdom Hearts' current time. And it kind of makes me, like, you know, not to say it, but like in Kingdom Hearts, what goes around comes around. Everything is a circle, you know?
Yeah.
And so I see those ripples and I see those circles even as early as Chain of Memories. And I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate this game. I also appreciate how emotionally driven it is. It's I feel like as we get further into Kingdom Hearts, we're going to have to talk more about like more practical things.
Yeah.
But I really liked how emotionally driven the game and therefore our podcast is this season.
Yeah. And I've seen through doing this season that this game matters so much to people. Like, the people who I feel had this as their first Kingdom Hearts game really, really, really love it, which is very cool to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
It's a very special game. It's very special.
It's a very special game. And, you know, I did not appreciate it as much as I should have before writing this. Not that I ever disliked it. I would just kind of go like, oh yeah, like it's Chain of Memories. It's a kooky game, you know. But I really see the passion people have for it. And I have found a new appreciation for it. So
yeah. You're doing a great job, Mel, with keeping up with the scripts. We have both, I feel like after every recording we've been doing recently, both of us are like, that was really good. That's the best one we've done. So we feel like we're improving, and I'm glad that everyone likes the show.
I know. I
guess
saw
is what
one
I'm saying.
that was like, I fucking love this podcast. And I was like,
we've been getting a few of those comments recently. It's just like, thank you for making this show, and it's like, you're welcome. Okay, so that being said, after the season summary next week, we're going to be going on another hiatus to prepare for the absolute fucking, what even word do I use to describe this? The absolute giant motherfucking game that is Kingdom Hearts 2.
There's so much to talk about with Kingdom Hearts 2. Because I was going to ask you, I was like, should we, like, do Days first? Because Days is another emotionally driven game. But I think Kingdom Hearts, as much as, like, okay, sometimes people do not like it when I say this. But I personally think that for the emotional impact, I personally guide my own friends into playing Days before Kingdom Hearts 2. And not everybody agrees with that. A lot of people think, I think most people think, that you should play Kingdom Hearts 2 before Days, which I could absolutely understand. I get it. I'm not here to debate that. That's not what my point is. But I do think Kingdom Hearts 2 gives you the tools for understanding in what ways the next few games are going to expand the universe. And so that, I think, is why we should go to Kingdom Hearts 2 first. Because you and I, the whole point of this podcast is to like help explain things, help people understand things. We're your guide through the Kingdom Hearts mythos, right?
Yeah.
And so I have to put my belief aside and
as painful as it is.
But I really do think Kingdom Hearts 2 is really good at explaining. You know, there are some things in this game that we can't even explain yet that Kingdom Hearts 2 will help us really get a grip on. So
yeah,
I think it'll be, the thing is that it just has a lot to talk about. So I'm going to need some time putting my papers together for it because it's a monster. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Especially because you're going to have so much to say. You're going to have so many opinions.
I mean, I don't want us to say that and then me end up being like quiet.
Okay.
It's fine. But I'm excited. I'll have the most experience going into Kingdom Hearts 2. We can say that.
Yeah.
Because I have been playing it for most of my motherfucking life. So I will have, I feel like, the misconceptions and the things that I used to think and then got corrected on in my brain for that game.
Interesting. Okay.
So it'll be a fun perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah. I won't give it like a definite timeline for when that season's gonna start.
Yeah.
But it'll probably be a somewhat similar timeline to what it was before between Kingdom Hearts and Chain of Memories.
Yeah, hopefully we're gonna aim for it, but
so we'll have the season breakdown next week, and then we'll be off, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 will be on our sites. So if you enjoyed this episode or if you enjoy the show, please feel free to rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel, just so you know when we'll be back. And I'm forgetting my own call to action. If you have friends who like Kingdom Hearts or a friend who wants to get into Kingdom Hearts, be sure to send them our way. We'll take care of them, give them a little kiss on their head, and tell them that we have them covered. We'll put a blankie around their shoulders and give them some hot cocoa and take them through the hidden mysteries of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
So tell your friends, tell your family, tell
the
everyone.
people that you hate so that they can better themselves through Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, exactly. I know of, like before the show started, I know of at least one person who I would go back and forth with. And if you're listening to this, I think you know who you are, who was like, oh, Kingdom Hearts is dumb. The lore doesn't make any sense. And once I announced the show, they were like, oh, okay, guess I got to give it another shot. So if you have friends like that, and, they think that the lore is dumb and convoluted because we know that that's a common misconception about this game.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to debunk. We're here to explain it. We're here to make it easy. We're here to connect all the dots for you.
Yeah.
So, if that ain't a good sell, I don't know what is.
I don't know what is. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for listening. And we'll see you in the Starlight.